distinguished panel, Ambassador Shibade coming in via Skype. We had a lot of success planning this event, and right now, in addition to the people here in the room and the people who are going to be coming to the keynote lecture in the afternoon, we've got 80 people registered to come to watch our webcast online. A lot of those watching from around the country and around the world. We've got universities from Europe, all over the United States. It's it's a great pleasure hosting this event. I think I'm very excited for the discussion we're going to hear. As part of the discussion, we provided a copy of Global Politics and the Responsibility to Protect the panel members. What we're talking about here in this symposium is translating the theory, some of the theories and ideas out there about international intervention and talking about how it's applied to the real world and how does theory get into practice. We've got some of the best minds from all over the country right here, and I'm really excited. With no further ado, Phoebe Haddon.
Thank you. So I want to welcome everyone, not only in this room, but across the world. This is truly a global event and very, very impressive in terms of the work of the students in making sure that the word gets out and that we have a great conversation this morning. I'm delighted to report that in addition to those of us who are in this room, in the law school, we have almost 200 participants across the globe. They're being joined with us remotely, many of them via live streaming video. So some of the places that they hail from are as far away as Spain and South Korea, but other spots are closer to home, like Canada, or within the United States, like California, Washington State, Florida, and Michigan. And I, hot off the press, just got a list of the associations that are participating today. They include the U.S. Coast Guard, the Vice President of International Business Development of the Philips Food, which is, she's in the room with us, the Montreal Institute of Genocide and Human Rights Study, the Carter Center, AIDS Foundation of Chicago, Maryland General Assembly, American Airlines, Austrian Embassy, Florida A&M University, Hunter College, Leiden University in the Netherlands, the University of Puerto Rico, Bulgarian Embassy, and Wake County Justice Center in North Carolina. So truly a diverse and eclectic group, but really demonstrative of the kinds of issues that we are trying to grapple with today. And there is truly an ambitious goal that we have this morning, and that's to explore the legal, political, diplomatic, military, and inescapably the moral dimensions of some of the choices that nations have chosen, including whether to intervene in the conflicts of other nations. The scope and relevance of this subject can be seen in the headlines of the news every day. Most recently, we've seen this since the earliest days of what we now call the Arab Spring, which I guess is the fall at this point. What began with promise and joy in Egypt has devolved into civil war of almost incomprehensible viciousness and persistence in places like Syria and in the military rule in Egypt. The struggle in both of these countries have left other nations pondering when, how, or whether to intervene. And the questions are familiar in almost every case, the very ones we asked years ago during the seemingly endless conflict in the former Yugoslavia or Rwanda. And those of us in the United States cannot consider the topic of international intervention without reflecting on the many years, dollars, and lives our country has invested in nation building in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. So I admire the ambition and the focus of the conversation today. I think that your willingness, particularly the planners of the symposium, to explore some of the most complicated and difficult questions haunting international relationships in virtually every corner of the globe at this point is laudable. I would like to thank the many people who have worked hard to create this challenging symposium, and I can't recognize everyone, but I want to particularly single out some people. First, this morning's panel is just superb. Professor Rosa Brooks of Georgetown Law and the Schwartz Senior Fellow at the New America Foundation, also in Washington. Commander Todd Huntley of the United States Navy and Chief of the Intra-Agency Policy and Operations Office of the Staff Judge Advocate in the United States Special Operations Command. Faisal al-Estrabadi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, former Deputy Permanent Representative of Iraq to the United Nations and now Professor at Indiana's Moorer School of Law. Tim Sellers, my colleague, the University System of Maryland Regents Professor of Law and Director of the Center for International and Comparative Law at the University of Baltimore, or UB as we affectionately call our sister law school. None of us would be here today without the outstanding contributions of my colleague, Professor Max Chibundu, and he will be moderating today, but he's far more than a moderator of this morning's session. He has been the intellectual driver of today's event, and he has spent countless hours with students helping to develop and implement a challenging symposium program. And Max, I'm really grateful for the work that you have done. So speaking of students, I'd like to acknowledge at least some of them. The leadership, first of all, of Tim McCormick, who you've heard from, the editor-in-chief of the Maryland Journal of International Law, particularly for helping to organize the event, as well as the issue that will flow from it, an issue of the journal which will have, which we will offer to the panelists and others who will not be with us today. So it's great, the work that you have done. And of course, we are all indebted to Adrienne Williams Conover. Is she in here? She's probably out doing even more to make this a truly superb event, and she has been providing the logistical direction and just has been so fundamental in terms of making this a success. And finally, my thanks to all of you, both in the law school as well as outside in the hinterlands and nearby, who are watching us on streaming video. You have my best wishes for a really productive symposium. I'm going to try to stay as long as I can because it's a wonderful opportunity for me to learn more, but I thank you very much for coming. Have a good morning.